Hey there everybody, Powder here, and welcome to Majula. There's Majula. So if you don't know, this is Dark Souls 2 Firelink Shrine. Now, I've been saying for a little while I wouldn't be getting any Dark Souls 2 footage out until the PC version came out, as I don't have any way of capturing PS3 footage. And that has changed as of today. So I've been recently looking for a way. I wanted to offload some of the workload. Offload the workload? Yeah, that makes sense. When I capture my computer footage, so I don't get the frame rate drops and everything, and I wanted to get a more consistent video frame on both my side when I was playing and on the capture side as it was going. And I did some research, and for a PC, it shouldn't be that hard, but in order to do what I was looking to do, it's actually not as simple as it sounds. Basically, what I wanted to do was I run dual monitors. I don't have room for 3 monitors, so I just have 2 monitors. I wanted to output just my left monitor's video to something that could capture that video. I also wanted to output my audio while still maintaining 120 hertz refresh rate or 120 FPS possible to my monitor. So I needed to either have a HDMI 1.4, I guess, or dual link DVI, and output this other system and split the audio. The big problem was audio, as Windows doesn't like to split audio and send audio out 2 different devices at the same time. It tends to prefer to always put it out one device or another device. And so I've had to do some workarounds in order to get it to work. Well, what I found was a device that, rather than, I have an old computer I was going to tear apart and put into a microcomputer or a mini case, and I was going to put a capture card in there, and I was going to set up this thing to capture. But what I found was this device online, and let's see, I might as well promote them if I'm going to be using them. This is the Hodgepodge HD PVR Rocket. I did some reviews. There were 3 of them, I think, that I checked out. There was an Avermedia one, and then a 3rd one I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, so a card just to make my computer capture video, a video capture card, was going to run me anywhere from like $120 to $220. Plus, then you add into that, I would have needed a new case. I probably would have needed a new power supply. Might have even needed a new motherboard to fit that case. I would have been looking at somewhere around $600 to get this other system up and running, if not more. Well, I got this dedicated standalone system that will actually accept thumb drives and external hard drives for $140. And it just, in the end, I might end up still doing the computer route, but this functioned well enough that I could do this. I could use it with the consoles and everything. It was worth the investment to try and see if it works, because if it worked, it could save me money in the long run. If it doesn't work, I'm out $150, which sucks, but isn't as bad as blowing $600 and having it not work either, right? Okay, so that's what happened there. And since I got that, I do have that working on my PC, but I went ahead and I captured this DS2 footage real quick. And I'm kind of standing here in Majula. I don't want to spoil anything starting out here too much, so I'm just kind of hanging out, running in circles. Yeah, I don't want to go and spoil anything, so we're just gonna, this is Majula. Here I am. And yeah, we'll go up here and we'll stand in the sun and bask in its gloriness as I talk a little bit. So now this is going to hopefully be a 15-minute video, just covering mostly what I plan to do with the Dark Souls 2, my coverage on it, once I get the PC version here in 11 days, and what you can expect from me, what I would expect going forward. And I have a few questions for what people would like to see if they're going to watch this or not. You know, I'm lacking followers, so I don't get a whole lot of replies on this, but maybe some, you know, Dark Souls 2, a good walkthrough could help bolster my channel a little bit. So, my plan. I've been going through the game. I'm at this point, I'm pretty much done with my playthrough of the game, and I'm watching as many other walkthroughs as I can. I've watched, oh my god, so many hours of Dark Souls 2 footage at this point. I'm bleeding from it. But basically, I'm trying to find any of those odd, rare hidden items that I've missed, any of those illusionary walls that I missed, any odd boss strategies I missed. I'm trying to see all of that. And what I'm really going to try to do, my walkthrough is going to be very in-depth. minus the lore. Gameplay-wise, it's going to be very in-depth, and hopefully show you guys close to 100% of everything that is available in the game. And I'm actually going to do 2 characters this time instead of 1. I'm going to run a primary character. I don't know, I haven't quite decided on a build or anything. If you have a particular build you'd like to see someone try out, let me know. I'm currently leaning towards, so my last build for the original Dark Souls, I went Dexterity. I used Ushikatana most of the time, and then the Scythe at the end, combined with Pyromancy. That's how I ran that. I'm thinking for a primary on this, I'm going to go a Strength build with Faith, a Strength Faith build. So not magic, but miracles. That's my thought process. I'll do a Strength Faith build, and then maybe as a background character, I will run a Dexterity Int build, or something to that effect. And the Strength Faith build would be the primary, and that'll be what you see 95% of the footage of. But when we come to a X or Y decision, where you can only choose one, and by choosing one you lose the other one, I will then, on the other character, do the other option, and just edit in the footage to show that. So that's what I'm planning to try and do. In the end, we're looking at probably 40 hours of gameplay, which is 80 episodes. It's going to be a pretty long series. So here's the first question I want to ask people. 30-minute episodes or 1-hour episodes? I'm leaning towards 30-minute episodes, as an hour's a long time in order to really be sitting and watching a single video. And people I think will get burned out on that. It's just a little too long. At the same time though, 80 30-minute episodes might be overwhelming also. So it's a pretty sight out there. Setting sun, some old ruins. Yeah. So that's the first question. If you have a preference on if you want to see 30-minute episodes or 60-minute episodes, let me know. And of course there will always be some episodes that run long, some episodes that don't. My other question is, I am tending to lean towards on my primary character, running that character offline. And I'm doing this not so much because I'm afraid of invasions, especially with the new system. A, you don't get invaded actually, well, at least on consoles, we're not getting invaded all that much. There's actually a lot more co-op help going on, at least this early in the game, as most people are still trying to work their way through, find their builds that they're happy with and everything. We might see a problem with that on PC build, as it's going to be a lot easier to hack, so we might have people hacking and invading. I'm not so much worried about that. What I am worried about is getting my videos held up for an extended period of time if I only have a 30-minute window because of the invasions, if that makes sense. I'm not so much, I'm fine with the PvP, but I can't have it screwing up the flow of my videos too much, or things will go really bad. So I was thinking the first primary character offline, then with my other character I'll edit in some co-op footage, some PvP footage and everything, so you can see a little bit of both, but the primary video will still be driven offline. So that's my second question, if you have a preference on that either way. I'm currently leaning towards offline. What else did I have to cover on that? I think those are the 2 big things for that. That's what you can expect from me. It's going to be about as intensive, all-encompassing tutorial as I can put together for me. It's also going to be a tutorial designed for beginner players. And this will transition to the next thing I want to talk about real quick before we end this video. So, I brought up in my last video, the one I did on the current thoughts on Dark Souls 2, I brought up that there was one major concern, kind of 2 concerns, that tie together for Dark Souls 2, and that was coming from the original developers. They talked about wanting to make the game easier and more accessible for people. They also talked about... Oh! Sorry, time out. Before I jump to that, real quick, back to the tutorial. The other thing I want to recommend with the tutorial, what I'm going to try to do, is... I think for people that are going to be playing the game, it's best to try and clear a zone first, and then if you get stuck, come back and watch the tutorial. Or after you've cleared the zone, come back and watch and see anything you missed that you might want to go back and pick up. So, at the beginning of each episode, I'm going to take the first minute or so, and I'm going to explain my progress through the level, where I plan to go, just to head you in the right direction. what I would recommend people do is either don't watch the video at all and just try it, or log in, watch the video, watch the first minute or so, get an idea of where we're going. For example, from here right now, the beginning episode, probably episode number 2, maybe 3, is going to be heading this way. And you're going to head down through here. There's going to be a little wooded area out there with a bonfire. Beyond that bonfire, you're going to come to a little bit of a castle, which is actually that castle over there. And that's going to come up to a second bonfire. That should take you about, for a first-time playthrough, probably about an hour to get through that. So I'd say go ahead and do that, and then come back and watch the video. And this way you can actually, for the most part, experience the game untarnished, but you'll have direction to know you're moving in the correct area, correct way, a way that is approachable for new-time players. So that's the other thing that I'm going to do with the tutorial series, or try to at least. Alright, back to the previous topic. Apologize for that. I should probably write this stuff down so I have bullet points I want to follow. So the big complaint that a lot of people had was the difficulty system, and if they were going to casualize the game and everything. And then the other one is this the Dark Souls game? If you want to get into the Souls series, is this the one you want to pick up? So, to answer the second question first, yes, this is the easiest of the 3 probably to jump into right now to learn as a new player. I still don't know if it's quite ready for everybody, though. There's still going to be a lot of people that are definitely put off by the learning curve on this game, as even with how much easier they've made it, it's still got a steep difficulty wall, and there's still some areas that are quite punishing. Time back into the first part of that point, have they overly simplified the game? So, yes and no on this one. The first playthrough of the game, I would say 75 to 80% of the content is easier than the original Dark Souls. I would say that somewhere around 15% of it is about the same as the original Dark Souls, and then there's a little 3 to 5% somewhere in there that is actually a little more difficult than the original Dark Souls. But overall, the game has been simplified. The base game. I keep saying the base game because they've put in terms and ways and easy things to do to increase the difficulty of the game. For the people that are looking for the more punishing, harder... Wow, that one texture looks real bad. See that one house? That one looks real bad. Well, maybe it's just the way the binoculars are focusing. Yeah, that might just be the binoculars. They've put in simple ways to make the game as difficult or almost as simple as you want it to be. If you're having trouble with the game and you want to make it easier, it is now easier to summon people. They've adjusted the ranges at which you can summon people. These people can come in and give you more help via co-op. They've but adjusted certain items in the game to make it easier for new players. For example, if you recall, there's rings in the original Dark Souls. I forget what they're called. Are they the Tear Stone rings or something like that? Where when you die, rather than lose all your items, rather than lose your humanity and go hollow and lose all your souls, the ring breaks and then it's gone. Well, that ring is back, but it's been modified to where you can actually repair it now. When it breaks, when equipment breaks, equipment can all be repaired at a blacksmith, and that repair cost is 3,000 souls. So, in theory, well, not in theory, in application, if, as you're progressing through the game, you are getting more than 3,000 souls between each death, you can go through the entire game without actually ever losing anything. You're going to have to spend 3,000 souls to repair the ring every time you die, but in a lot of cases that's going to be cheaper than when you first start out. Now, you don't get that ring for a little bit into the game, probably about 2 hours in, maybe 3, depending on your first playthrough speed and everything. So there's going to be some time before you get to that ring, but that ring is definitely there and it's definitely usable. Of course, new players may not know what it is and how to use it and how to repair it and everything, so they might overlook it. So that's how they've made the game easier. They've also made a lot of the parts easy, a lot of the bosses easier and everything, but that's not important. As for difficulty, and this ties into another little part I brought up where I wasn't sure how I felt about it. With the, if you form a mob, 12 times. It turns out that that's how many times you have to kill a mob. Most of the mobs will stop respawning. I say most. There are certain mobs that only spawn once and then they're gone. There's some mobs that respawn indefinitely. But the vast majority, if you kill them 12 times, they stop respawning. I brought up concern about if this would ruin the ability to farm items and everything. Well, I said that I didn't fully know the game yet. I now have a much better idea. What they've done is they've added in this item called Bonfire Ascetic, and you can burn this in a bonfire. Any bonfire that is in a zone. We could do it right here in Majula if we wanted to. You can throw this into the bonfire. I don't have one to show you guys. And all enemies and bosses tied to this bonfire become New Game Plus caliber. It ups their difficulty. So as you farm, every 12th kill of an item, of a mob, you then have to increase the difficulty. They'll come back and you can farm them again, but now the game is more difficult in that zone tied to that boss. To do this, you also have to first kill the boss in the zone, so the boss has to be dead, then you can feed the bonfire ascetic, respawn everything, including the boss, and more additional mobs. It almost puts the entire zone into New Game Plus. Not quite entirely, but almost entirely. So, you can play the game as difficult as you want. You could technically make one zone up to New Game Plus 9 your first playthrough, and that one zone is going to be terrifyingly difficult. They've also put in, and there was a reason I started to run over here, right off the bat there's a covenant up here, and this will be a very, very minor spoiler, but there's this slab up here on this side of the cliff here. If we click on this, this is a covenant, and if we tell it we want to enter this covenant, it's going to give us this message. It will set you upon an arduous path. Okay to join this covenant? What this covenant does is this will automatically put you into New Game Plus mode. Automatically. Well, I don't quote me on that, actually. I don't know if it's New Game Plus mode. It automatically increases the difficulty towards New Game Plus difficulty. I will try and confirm that 100% before the next tutorial starts. In fact, I will do it with this guy here, and I'll see if it goes New Game Plus mode. But it ups the difficulty of the entire game right from the start. So if you want to have that punishing gameplay, boom, right there's your option. And then for everybody else, the way I think they went about doing this is they wanted the game, the first playthrough of the game, to be somewhat simplified for you to get the feel for the game, the experience for the game, and then New Game Plus is where the difficulty really steps up, and that's after you've killed all the bosses and you've gone around and restarted everything over from the get-go. That I have started, and it gets much, much harder. Even harder than the original Dark Souls. So for those people that still are looking for difficulty, it is here. You just got to go about adjusting the game to get it. So there's the basic rundown of that and how I feel about that. If you're a new player, this is the entry you want to look into in order to play. But do still expect to die a lot as you learn the ins and outs of the game mechanics. If you're an experienced player from Dark Souls 1, if you're somebody that runs around without a shield and you're just bashing stuff left and right and you know the rolls and you want to roll at, you know how your equip loads and everything, you're probably going to find the initial playthrough a bit easy. Go ahead, start using some Bonfire Ascetic, start using that Covenant over there on the wall, and the game will very quickly punish you for that. Even if you don't use that, you're still going to come across about 20% or so, maybe 25% or so of the game that is going to kick your butt. There are parts of the game that are still very, very difficult beyond that. Alright, that's been about 19 minutes. I've been rambling on long enough. There we go. So that's the combination of... Overall, I'm liking Dark Souls 2. It's not perfect. I like Dark Souls 1 a little bit better. I think Dark Souls 1 was a more complete and better product. However, I still very much like Dark Souls 2. As for the tutorial series, let me know if you want to see 60-minute or 30-minute videos. Let me know if you want to see PvP. And let me know if you kind of like that idea of the recommendations of the pathway or whatever before the beginning of each video so you can play ahead of the video a little bit and so forth. Other than that, this should be it for the video coverage until April 25th. Maybe April 26th. Hopefully by then the first few videos should be going live. Okay? So, let me get back in there. I'm gonna do my goodbye wave. This has been Paller. Thanks for watching.